Civilisations somewhat as you expected. Incas and Malay on the other side. So, Socotra, everybody knows that. Of course, in 1v1, it's gonna be quite a bit of a close map, as you can see. That seems to be maybe slightly adjusted, though. Or maybe I'm just gonna use two different versions of the map, I guess, from like different number of players. But whatever the case, yeah, gonna be, of course, having quite a bit of a close trip between the players, almost like within one screen, with quite a bit of a forward, secondary, tertiary gold mine. Even the stones, especially, those are gonna be probably quite a bit important. With one, the main gold, I guess somewhat okay, probably. So at least kind of like, could be saying the back of the base a bit. Has he actually stolen? Oh, he has actually stolen the elephant, yeah. I was kind of thinking there's only one on Socotra, so quite a good beginning currently for an in. Entirely certain if they have some kind of veto actually in the tournament. Do they? Or do they not? Okay, let me have a look so that you're having some better idea. Doesn't seem to be any kind of mention of veto, frankly. Yeah, it doesn't seem like actually there is even a veto. Which is kinda rare in the age of tournaments, but I'm definitely not against that. So, he's gonna be having to at this point Ganji play with that, which obviously is not gonna be making him too happy. You can say it now, slightly blocking right now the wolf, or wolf lion rather, because it seems like he's gonna be having, quite a bit of interesting idea of laming as well. This is kinda like a classic Socotra. So, stealing of the elephant, but you're just gonna be losing all the ostriches possibly. But is he gonna be able to do something about the goal on the left? I very much doubt that. And still, with the extra elephant, should be having quite a bit easier advance time there running. And of course with the discount on the towers possibly, if he's gonna be able to get himself a bit of extra stone here, it might be quite a bit oppressive. Or the question is, if maybe Ganji is not gonna be trying to basically like TC rush him. Considering right now the beginning, he obviously still can be advancing somewhat normally. Be in Malay and also therefore the 3 villages faster. As you can see now running will be having to drop a mill here probably. But first murdering some vills possibly. There is the mill. So how much have we actually stolen? 16, 80... Actually stolen some very healthy food. Both directly taking it by the villagers and also to decay. So that's gonna be having some kind of effect, but obviously it's not gonna be still replacing the elephant that Ganji is gonna be at this point not entirely able to use. As he seems to be at this point also having quite some inefficiency, which on the other hand is gonna be a bit funny, right? Because look at how far away he's gonna be gathering all the animals. Whereas because... yeah, Ganji was killing them without any kind of regard for that. He's having practically all of them in one spot. So this is gonna be... sure, the loss is still, but it's actually gonna be quite a bit efficient in the end. So some maluses, some bonuses here and there. Bit curious. 15, 16 villages by the way currently. Some kind of slight advantage for an in. We don't have any kind of deaths or anything like that. So that's just going to be at this point straight, not simply, having some idle time. Running, getting ready for the advance, whereas on the other side blocking the berries, sure. No, and Ganji is definitely not gonna be advancing anytime soon. He's gonna be taking a lot longer. He does have some kind of leeway, as he mentioned, because of his bonus on the advance time. And it's not entirely that infinite, right? It's only 3 villages. So let's see how quickly he's gonna be able to kind of make it work. Because obviously at this point that's also for the 4 villages that are not gathering anything, right? They're just like using time, let's say. And that could be somewhat actually smart. How many goats we have? I think we haven't enough for the advance. There's still possibly going to be one ostrich that is completely forgotten. 40 food in there for him. He can straight now advance into the feudal age. No, whereas for the other side, for Ganji, he is having what exactly? No, done with the ostriches. No goats left. He's gonna be having to right now rely on the fruit bushes, which are not entirely the fastest, of course, so that still could be a bit uncomfortable, and maybe could be even leading into not entirely gathering, or making actually new villages in there all the time. But well, whatever the case, you're gonna be having running coming forward. He's gonna be getting ready with militias. Yeah, sure. Some kind of potential blockage is gonna be here, but I'm kind of wondering really if he's gonna be also heading forward with a tower, because dropping, if you look at the map, dropping tower about here, it's gonna be blocking the whole map practically. He's gonna be still left with one good gold mine, the same as what Ranin is having himself, but it is some kind of at least annoying variant. If you're gonna be switching to Ranin and his point of view, he actually is aware of what the shape of the map is, as he's trying to right now break into the berries. And I can see it's not entirely that impossible. And there is of course the stone. So yes, the Inca will be aiming for some towers. So there we go, and that's gonna be only right now start of the feudal age for Ganji. So he's gonna be still taking a moment before he's properly through. He's even going for the right... Oh, well. No. That maybe could have been thought through a bit better. Because at this point he was probably a bit too much of an optimist. Because the problem is, not like that he has the other gold mine, but the fact he's gonna be wasting 100 wood practically on this. In already quite a bit of a tight early game. Interesting, he's actually really gone for the first one here. He definitely could have been getting away with a tower about there. For blocking all the resources, but I guess he just kinda didn't want to be risking it too much. So of course also the discount on the towers is gonna be quite a bit helpful. Making sure he's gonna be still able to get even a second one quite soon. Very nicely preparing the wall so that he can be actually right now giving himself a bit more time. Just in case they come after him, and they do. No, but well, villager fighting against many times is of course a whole different story than anything else. So while the tower is gonna be gone, this definitely is still gonna be possibly quite a bit painful for Ganji. And it definitely already is. I mean, like, this is gonna be what, 10 villages not doing anything again. You need to be always taking that into account. 23, 24 in the villages in total. And just like the investment time that is coming in is just like so much more advantageous currently for running. So that's gonna be 1, 2 villages there for purple, I want to say. Actually, not only him. It looks like it's maybe gonna be like 1 and 1, considering that it's gonna be 2 villages extra for running. Thinking they weren't entirely having that much of a difference a moment ago. Military wise for Ganji, yeah, well, Spiros and Scout, but practically no hit points, so it doesn't entirely matter. And Archer Range, whereas for the opponent that's gonna be the same plan. So at least it seems like that Ganji has survived the absolute worst, as we are not getting any kind of further stone anymore. Switching into gold, also right now keeping the safer one beyond the base. Just seems like actually good job by Ganji, getting himself out of quite a bit of a pickle. But it seems like it's not entirely gonna be all over. There's a lot of villas currently for running. Very much wants to be finishing the tower still. And he will. Or will he? Maybe I actually spoke too soon. Looked like Ganji is gonna be somewhat missing him, but he actually noticed him fairly quickly. So that might be good enough, even though you can straight now some quick calls are gonna be at this point probably making sure it's gonna be as complicated as possible. Alright, we are gonna be done. And of course that right now immediately means that blue has to be running. And is he actually getting some stone himself? 1 stone there, second in the front, not yet. But he's right now seeing that apparently it's gonna be really necessary. With villages coming forward, okay. Let's switch into his point of view. At this point already gonna start in... Oh well, you actually can't. I was already mentioning it multiple times. That maybe you could be like TC rushing, but you actually cannot be douching here. Because you would have to be deleting your own TC. And that would be, of course, mean in the end. So you actually cannot be douching on sudden death. Oh man, that took me a long time to realize, actually. That you cannot be actually douching this, even though that would be somewhat like a legit strat. But it just like doesn't make sense, unfortunately. So you have to be going with straight towers and normal warfare, practically. No, nonetheless, berries are gonna be blocked, but you already are switching into farms anyway. And of course, quite nice mill on the other side of the base, practically. Which is gonna be opening place for further farm efficiency. 6 units for running. Ganji is gonna be at straight 0. It's gonna be only skirmishers, but I guess it's gonna be also good enough. Yeah, I mean, like, that's gonna be a really pretty big problem for Ganji. Because the discount on the stone buildings for running is gonna be just like felt too much. I can say now Castle Age, there's absolutely no chance for that for either of the players. They're just not gonna be coming. 26 villages for Ganji, running at 31. Fifth of the villages more than what Ganji has. Of course, nothing on the military. Archer range still kinda ready, but there's gonna be some first skirmisher right about now coming forward. And yep, he's gonna be having right about now to take care of them. And there's even a normal archer hidden inside. He's gathering plenty of resources currently, so it seems to me really running is kind of setting up for me maybe being able to decide the game fairly quickly actually here. We had already 20 minutes, so it feels like it may be a few more towers and it might be a bit too much for Ganji to really get into any kind of resources, because practically like one tower here to the right and he's gonna be completely blocked here. He's not gonna be able to get the stone. He obviously doesn't have enough stone for further tower, so he's gonna be really quite a bit messed up. As it also looks like it running, no, seems to be taking a bit of a scenic route and going from the other side, which I'm not entirely certain why exactly, because this is of course the more important part of the gameplay, and he obviously sees like most of it. He knows there's the mining camp where the resources are. He does have coverage of his own tower, but I guess he just gonna wants to be making sure that the left side is gonna be completely under control before he's gonna be closing the jaws around the enemy's neck. Further tower probably, oh well, there, straight on the wood. Because by the way, all the way to the south, he's gonna be having some kind of major melee here. Way too much purple at this point. So even though we're having actually some interesting skirmishes here for Ganji. So let us see if he's gonna be able to get something out of it. On the villages, by the way, we have actually gotten a bit closer. So some success for Ganji, 34 versus 36, 35. So actually this is a bit surprisingly going well. Maybe running slightly underestimating the amount of the skirmies here, as he's hoping probably to close the, really, the base of the enemy, but in the end he's gonna be having some heavy losses himself, as it's gonna be right now still somewhat holding true. Army 8 versus 9, currently in favor of running with only 1 unit. And this obviously is gonna be always quite a bit obnoxious, because like, you need to be microing every single villager here, as they do not auto-attack. On top of it, you need to be, of course, moving away with the skirmishers. No, nonetheless. How many villages do we even have properly working? Not entirely that many, it looks like. So you're gonna be actually in the end just trying to resolve it by a defensive tower. That's actually not entirely that much unviable idea. Just kinda slightly worried if maybe he hasn't kinda bitten a bit too much that he could chew, or than he could chew at this point. I mean, like, the hit points are kinda getting really sad here for running. Tower down, but it's gonna be immediately getting destroyed. You can see the sappers beyond that. And below that, as all the way on the other side of the map, you at least already forced Ganji to be moving into a different line. And I just like, again, remember what we said, right? From the start of the game, we are saying, drop the stupid tower here. It would be just so damn good. Obviously, it would be opening opportunity for Ganji then to move to the left side, if that was and that were the focus. But it seems to be kind of like maybe a bit more reachable than with some kind of free units. Well, at any rate, it seems like running is right now getting into a disadvantage. With only 32 versus 33 villages, it's really somewhat close. It's kind of hard to say who's actually ahead, because you are just having movements of villages everywhere by both players. And those are just gonna be immediately every minute, meaning hundreds of resources gone, right? And it's really hard to appreciate who's having more idle village in. So 5-4 on the military currently. Still somewhat similar. No, and Ranin is gonna be not even making anything at all. You can see he's having problem with food. Not even having any kind of farmers. That seems to be a bit of a tactical mistake at this point. I guess he just kinda committed more villagers to this adventure than he possibly even should have. Maybe could be sending some bullies there to help out. And therefore, even though it didn't look like that Ganji is gonna be having that great chance, considering also the elephant stolen from him in the first minute, seems like that maybe he's gonna be the one with a better chance in the end. Right now, he just gonna needs to be practically timing, I think, in the attack on the TC. Maybe just like making some kind of huge all-in. Or maybe just like dropping even tower nearby that's gonna be shooting at the town center. Okay, going for the economy, even on the other side of the map completely. Still able to drop a tower at this point, Ganji, rather Ranin. Gonna be blocking the second wood line, of course. By the way, did he get Fletch in? No, he didn't. Because he was having blacksmith in his base there. So I was kind of wondering if maybe he has gotten something for himself, but he didn't. Tower coming up, good. That could be opening opportunity for the next tower about maybe here to block all the mines. And as all the way to the top, we're gonna be maybe actually able to free this, as we unfortunately don't have proper coverage by the towers here. Oh well, it's gonna be right now just about finished, very close indeed, and Ganji is having actually even archers. Doesn't have only skirmishers, which is gonna be very dangerous to the Viris. But on the other hand, yeah, he wasn't right now paying full attention, and therefore the skirmishes are gonna be right now finding out where he exactly is. Such a nice army. And now, so low on the hit points, so he's gonna be either having to keep them in the base for a bit of healing, or, well, just gonna risk losing them too easily. Can say now 7 versus 5. Ganji is gonna be a bit higher up on the number of units, but again, you have seen the hit points are gonna be a bit sketchier. Now I know the villagers 35, 33. And can I increase the amount of gold for running? I'm telling you that much of a high one for Ganji. So maybe slightly making me wonder if there's gonna be some kind of small attempt possibly. If there's gonna be some kind of chance maybe to drop himself into castle. But I cannot doubt it so far. Rani is gonna be finally getting the fletching for himself. Finally, he's gonna be having it done. And hey, Chrono, play all 5. It's 5 games, and they play all of them. Just kind of like a showmatch to showcase the sudden death maps for the tournament that's gonna be coming up in a few weeks by John Slow. Finally, took only about, I don't know, 15 minutes maybe, since you were calling for towers about on this position of the map. But whatever the case, you're gonna be dropping at least the market here for Ganjeno. Not entirely that much gold currently, so again, not entirely that much of a threat of the castle age for him. Whereas on the other side, that is going to be apparently not entirely that hot either. He has currently right now expended quite some res. Oh, that's a very nice army though. You can see it now running. It's gonna be at this point dropping a bit on the bill. Still not entirely that deadly yet. It's certainly starting to be uncomfortable. 12 versus 5 units. Very nice investment by Ganjeno. And if he's gonna be actually able to get even somewhere here, then, well, Rani is gonna be having to even use the enemy base as the resource. And sudden death is the same as in Age of Mythology. We are having a one specific map for that, and at this point they have created multiple maps for it. And yes, just like one TC, or just the starting TCs, you can't be making new ones, because they have even like double and 3 TC maps. But you can't be building new town centers, and if you lose all of them, then you lose the game. So classic sudden death, as we are used to from AOM. It seems to be quite a bit of a rage lately in Age of Empires 2. They apparently discovered this mode in the map, in the game, as there are about like multiple tournaments currently running and will be running. So new fact they have found out. I mean, like, it practically shouldn't be too hard to do, right? You can be making even normal maps. You're just gonna be removing the extra TC spawns. You're having 1 TC. That shouldn't be really changing any kind of spawn mechanisms or whatnot of the game, right? And you're just gonna add the condition from the sudden death that if you lose a TC, you're dead. It shouldn't be too hard, is it? Okay, seems like that maybe right now Blue is gonna be able to free himself from the yoke of the enemy. Still has a fairly solid gold here, so no problem. Stone is gonna be somewhat running out though. That might be a bit more of an issue. As you can see right now, running is not gonna be getting into the next age, whereas for Mr. Ganji, it's gonna starting to grow on the food. You can see right now the farmland is nice. As for the opponent, it's still quite a bit limited, which obviously is meaning therefore much of a high chance on accruing the 800 that you'll be needing. And you can say that even further farms from Ganji. Yeah, definitely feels like that Ganji is at this point, oh, not going for the castle. He's actually going for scouts. He's gonna be basically trying to complete the murderize run-in even before going to castle. I mean, like, castle would be probably winning condition as well. I guess straight there. Did he delete it or did it get deleted? Not sure. Okay, fletching, and on the other side it's gonna be fletching as well, plus extra range. But yeah, well, the few extra scouts are gonna be at this point meaning quite a disastrous result for running. I'll be able to maybe get a few spearmen, but he's gonna be completely armyless practically. There we go, everything completely murdered, and seems like it's gonna be all about the feudal age. I really do not want to believe in that. It kind of almost reminds me of one of the games from World Desert Championship, like 3 years ago, or how long was it actually already? And that was, I want to say that was coincidentally running there as well in the match. I'm not right now certain who was his opponent anymore, and I'm thinking running was actually one of them. It was Al-Sami map, kind of like the extremely open desert map with practically no chances of walling or anything like that. And they were playing like hour plus on 30 villages or some kind of nonsense like that. So it was also quite a bit entertaining. Something similar, frankly, that we have here. Running, getting castle, as you can see, got a lot of gold in there. 500 food suddenly, whereas for Ganje, he is gonna be still committed right now to the next, to the first age, extra practically. So the second age, that's what I wanted to say here. Not entirely allowing him to get anywhere too much. And of course right now the gold is gonna be blocked for purple, but he still does have what, about like 1,000 left, potentially further gold mine in the middle, so there's tons of everything, whereas for blue he's having enough as well. Yeah, they don't seem to be entirely having shortage of the resources too much, as you can see running on. And yeah, this is gonna be a big problem, because right now he's gonna be as a Mesoamerican switching into Eagles, and that's gonna be really hard to counter for Ganji. Especially since he's not really ready for the castle. He's right now still making archers. He's gonna get so destroyed. That's gonna be like an insta GG in my opinion, once we reach castle. And maybe at max when some first eagles show up. Because that's like no way for Ganji to defend against it. Very good resources. So therefore gonna be having quite decent upgrades on top of it. Like, he's of course brazenly stealing the enemy resources. Unfortunately right now for Ganji, that's something that he can't be doing here on the other side of the map. There's still gonna be the enemy tower that somehow needs to be dealt with. The barracks, yeah, I'm thinking at this point it's getting quite a bit clear. That's not gonna be any kind of good chance, even with the turbo fast advances that Malay can be having. You just simply won't be having entirely the resources fast enough for that. You can see it's not entirely that incredibly far, but he also doesn't have any kind of preparation for countering the eagles. Not gonna be having upgrades, for example, on cavalry. Infantry, that's maybe something for the Malay specifically, since he's having infantry armor for free. But again, there's just gonna be some further investments he's not entirely gonna be too comfortable with. Even further stone. He's gonna be able to drop even a castle, for example, on him. Running. Again, I mean, like, he's having the discount on the stone buildings as the Inca. So that castle is gonna be a bit easier to do. As, of course, the castle reach for Ganji. He's nice to see that he's not gonna be giving up on that. And we have been 4950, so that's gonna be about, I don't know, 3 villages behind, approximately. Once the H is gonna be reached. But you can see 3 barracks, getting eagles everywhere. And first, apparently, order of business. He's gonna be trying to get rid of the defense on the gold. Because it's still, of course, easier to play with right now for running than having to rely on the other side of the map, just in case you're gonna be able to get some kind of nonsenses there from the castle, like a few rams. And suddenly, of course, towers are gonna be falling like flies, and he might be losing the further resources there, as there's the castle as well here. And what is gonna be there for the gameplay? Oh, somewhat limited gold. And it's apparently gonna be elephants. No, well, he does have them cheaper, so that's also some kind of variant, I guess. See, therefore, if there's gonna be some immediate monastery by running. Practically should be. He might be trying, I mean, like, as long as there are not gonna be that many elephants, he's gonna be fine. But the temple is already prepared, or monastery. There's the monkey already almost finished. And convergence can, of course, begin. That's gonna be right now his Achilles heel. Like, what is he doing? Kind of like moving up and down. No, finally. There we go. He's gonna be converted. Oh, would have been actually converted if he was allowing him to do so. But nonetheless, that's gonna be a GG. And yep, not much of a great chance at this point for Ganji to do anything about that. You can see he's gonna be also further blocked on the wood line. Again, those extra resources are so helpful. Whereas for Ganji, he's gonna be also soon kind of like not entirely fully out of gold. There is still about what, 1600 left. But well, if you, as you of course advance in ages and getting more expensive units, it's starting to drain a lot quicker than otherwise. I see locked on the other side of the map, but it also is gonna be tower gone. Further gold available for running. Yeah, the eagles are a bit too nasty. And you have a proper transition as opposed to opponent into castle. So that's gonna be meaning that actually right now running is gonna be reverse sweeping. Right now Ganji was leading 2-0 after the first 2 games, and then running. You can see what kind of ending he had. He really helped himself here with stealing the enemy elephant at the very start. It really helped him quite a lot. But maybe surprisingly, Ganji managed to find a way how to play against that, and he actually looked even stronger for some time there, until that fateful castle and of course the power play here with Inca. So let's have a look into statistics. This actually coincidentally might have been the longest game. First one was about 40 minutes as well. Like 41. So this is actually the longest one that we have had in this show match. So okay, let's have a look at some statistics. And I kinda guessing, looking at the length of it, we might be actually doing another match after from recorded games, something else. I'm thinking Clash of the Titans. And one of the matches, maybe in case you're gonna be interested, I mean, like, you can potentially choose if you wish. I'm having a few games from that we possibly could do. Either we could be doing from yesterday, Freaky Andy versus Dogao, or we could be doing ACCM versus Freaky Andy from last week. Or there were also some earlier rounds, even from Clash of the Titans, some Margugu matches that I also haven't seen and potentially wanted to have a look at possibly. So yeah, if you have some kind of preference maybe, then feel free to mention. Otherwise, I guess I will be selecting something from that. But let's therefore right now have a look onto ending upgrades on this show match. Of course, right now Malay, well, in the sudden death, really, it's just like a full-on warfare from the early stages, so therefore they don't entirely put too much importance into Reco, since you can't be even getting the extra TCs. But since you can't be getting the extra TCs, you could be thinking it might be the opposite way, right? That therefore the upgrades are gonna be the ones to carry you. Running, on the other hand, completely naked, nothing on the economy whatsoever. And of course, already secondary defense on the infantry. which is at this point going to be also on the villages since you are in the castle age. No, and otherwise 4750 on the vills, 418 on the army, and let's therefore have a look into post-game. Nice 3-8s. Otherwise the score really not entirely that much different, as you can tell. Holding somewhat close to each other. And on the resources, 3, that's gonna be 18, so 2-1. That's gonna be 2-4, so therefore 900. 3-7, about like 500 resources more for running than for Ganji. It's not entirely that much influential currently. Just of course on the lower amount of echo that we had, gonna be some important flows in the game where there were moments where the difference would have been a bit more significant, but it's kinda really hard to guess since we're having so many villages moving around all the time, really fighting and building towers and stuff. It's really kinda like hard to gauge who's really ahead and who isn't at that point. Same-ish researches, same research person for both, having the same amount of researches in general in the game. And 40-minute castle age. Nice. So congratulations therefore to Running on winning the show match for the prepared tournament Sudden Disaster. It's gonna be hosted by John Slow, with the coordinates being... Let me find in the handbook, coordinates being Wenegor, Raznochinets, Potkeny, bazidrown, and Welcome to Rapture. And also thanks to the map creators, plenty of maps also adjusted by bazidrown, and there is gonna be a map by Zetnus and Krazini, and also concept by Marinto, but then scripting and 2TC start by bazidrown, who is apparently beyond plenty of those changes. So thanks to all of them, and therefore you're gonna be wishing both of the players. I'm gonna be expecting they are both signed up for the full event that's gonna be starting in about 3 weeks or whatnot. Kind of like the first half of March. I'm gonna be wishing both Running and Ganji good luck there. As Ganji, well, again, good start to the matchup, but then Running apparently managed to find his footing and gonna be taking right now a bit more from the prize pool, which was 20 euro for each of each one game. So 60-40, quite nice fair distribution for them. So good match and GG to both. Well then, so as I mentioned, there was that other thing. Where was the game? Suburbs, fairly certain it was here. Let me right now load up the window so that I can see the timing. Okay, 12 minutes, so it was actually fairly early. Okay, so let's see what maybe could be some kind of candidate somewhere. Be like here. Oh wow, yeah, this one actually. The scout actually moving from about here, jumping there. It's kind of like dodging, I guess, the dodging that hit. Yeah, I'm thinking that was it. Yep, pretty certain that was it. Okay, so that's gonna be there for it for right now the 2 matches. So thank you very much for stopping by, who did. However, Kurtle, thank you for some of the info again on Clash of the Titans, Alex Leon, Chrono JJ, and potentially anybody else who was maybe lurking around. We are going to be having some maybe stream tomorrow. Yeah, might be some Age of Mythology match. There's also that Age of Showcase at 18 GMT. No, and well, then we of course stream Monday, Wednesday, Thursday. Wednesday Age of Mythology. You'll see what we're gonna be doing otherwise on the other sessions. If there's gonna be some further tournament matches, maybe here from Clash of the Titans or something else, not sure. That's gonna depend, and well, we'll see if maybe there's gonna be something over the weekend that's gonna be needing some kind of help with covering. So let's gonna have a look at this again, and I guess that's gonna be there for it. As you're gonna be checking out what is maybe potentially still going on in the community. So thanks very much to Ganji from the Amigos and Ranin that you're able to of course stream them. Same goes to Meta Tensei Dogao and Freakin' Andy. And of course to host the tournaments of here, the show match of Sudden Disaster hosted by John Slow. And I'm gonna be looking in a moment also once we're gonna be having this resolved into also the further hosts of the tournament. But Webber, Coyotl, T-West and Nova in the community for Clash of the Titans 2, the 10-year anniversary. Oh wow, yeah, that's definitely it. Yeah, the solid teleport right there. Okay, so I guess it's gonna be there for what I wanted to see here. Kind of forgot about it during that match. And not much else to be seen here. We have already seen the game in full. So GG, and let us therefore end it for today. And for the further hosts of the tournament, that's coming up in a few weeks. You can still sign up if you want for the Sudden Disaster. That is going to be Wenegor, Raznochinets, Potkeny, bazidrown, and Welcome to Rapture, and also the original map creators. For some of them like Zetnus, Krazini, Marinto, and potentially even some others, as bazidrown was doing a lot of adjustments in there to be having the sudden death variant of the map. You can find maybe some more information for the tournament in the handbook if you wish. If you want to sign up. Not sure if I'm gonna be streaming something of it. We will see what's gonna be the coverage overall and what kind of time we are going to be having for it. So at this point, let's have a look on our Age of Empires 2 streams. So what's going on, maybe for some suggestions. Okay then. Dave Hunt, for example, is streaming some quarterfinals of GB draft. Not sure what it is, but some kind of tournament it looks like. Sapient Fest, Team Dave versus Team Robo. Okay, so that's some kind of team tournament. And they're gonna be playing against each other, so different points of view. Even though it seems like that Sapient Fest is actually cast in. I don't know, Kingstone, for example. Kukuro official. They're having some Turkish hidden cup. See if you want to be seeing that variant. Shenshen Kopro seems like some kind of champion of some French tournament. 1800 minus Elo or whatnot. Oh well, if you wish to look at him. Lobodela Nieve. Jubileu maybe. Jubileu AoE. Then we do have apparently Crazy Ivan 64. There's some kind of Return of Rome. Ancients League. Rise of the Ancients League Season 3. That seems to be some kind of casting of competitive games. And that seems to be somewhat it. Not sure if there's anybody also doing maybe. Oh well, there's actually Fabian Zipa. Seems to be doing HD. Yes. So if you want to be kind of reminiscing on the previous version of the game, maybe for the fun of it, not how it was on Woobley, that is still a better version. Ozone is right now starting streaming as well, it seems. Woobley is still, fortunately, better version mechanically of the game, just like the only difference is that you're gonna be having less lag on the definitive edition with kind of the pseudo servers that they are there, but otherwise mechanically working, pathfinding and everything original on user patch. So unfortunately still better, which is really sad considering that DE is here for 5 years already. But yeah, well, up to you to choose what you want to be doing with the rest of the evening. For maybe the check if there is somebody watching in Czech here or Slovak, then there's Arslink, of course, doing some games as usual every evening almost, so you can possibly watch him. But that's gonna be there for it for tonight, so hope you enjoyed. Thank you very much for watching. Thank you again to all the players, for Meta Tensei, Dogao, Freakin' Andy, and the amigos Ganji and Ranin for being able to stream them, and of course the hosts of all of them, of the tournaments and the show matches they were involved in. So for the Clash of the Titans 2, Webecoyotl, Nova, T-West, map creators, and of course also the community for the prize pool, thank you very much. No, and Sudden Disaster, which is gonna be the upcoming tournament that the first show match was for, between Ranin and Ganji, that is hosted by John Slow, Wenegor, Raznochinets, Potkeny, Bazidrown, and Welcome to Rapture, and of course some map creators there as well. To be thanked, like Krazini, Zetnus, Marinto, and bazidrown, he's doing adjustments on plenty of the other maps, so not sure what are creators of the others. Not all of them are having the original, kind of like what kind of map scripts they are using. For example, like for Arabia Hideout and stuff. The Hideout is, for example, from that's originally from Forgotten, right? I'm thinking that came with the first mod expansion, if I'm not mistaken. So yes, thanks to them as well. No, and to the community too for this tournament, because that is a community-funded tournament, about like €2,500, I think, for the prize pool for that so far. And today they were playing for €20 for each of the maps, 100 in total. We'll see if there are gonna be some more. It's kind of possible, I guess. But in a few weeks, in about 2 or 3 weeks, 3 weeks if I'm not mistaken, they should be there for the tournament starting. Should be some good games. Sudden Death is certainly quite an interesting mode that hasn't been used too much. So thank you very much therefore also Dondu and the AoE for the follow, and whoever stopped by on the chat like Coyotl, Chrono, Alex Leon, and whoever was lurking around maybe for a bit. Hopefully you enjoyed some games of the players. That commentary wasn't too annoying, and I've been Blackadder at Blackadder's place. Hope you enjoyed, and see you later. And thank you for stopping by.